So once the approval process has been done, then the job will be posted to the job sites. Up to before that, they should have to fill all these details and they have to send to the approval process. So there will be different job requisition templates for the contract positions, one different one, and depending on the different departments. And if it's a sales and marketing, there will be it depends on the company to company. They can choose a number of templates, how many they want. And they can, by using those templates, they can just create different jobs. So first one would be the meta section. It's nothing but type of the template and minimum posting days and spell check. Do you want to show the spell check or not? And after that, the name of the job requisition and description. Description is it's not very important, but name is the important thing. Last modified will be taken care by the system every time. Supported languages is nothing but a number of languages supported in this particular template, like different translations. And coming to the default listing layout ID, actually these listings are shown in two different views. That particular view listing will be mapped here. I will show that. And field definitions are nothing but whenever we are creating a job requisition, whenever you are creating a job requisition, all these fields will be all the fields which we configured will be shown. Like we should have to enter all these fields. Let me bring this one. Yeah. All the usually it's also depends on the configuration because this is a sales demo system. You can see these many number of options, but usually there won't be there. And I showed you before what are the different types of these are the different types of parameters which we use to create a particular field. There are different types of fields, whether it is required or not, and header. There are some header fields and regular fields. So those things, and whether it's a custom field or standard field. Usually, the system contains a set of standard fields. You can use those. If those things are not if that standard fields are not working with you, then you can go for the custom fields. Usually, some fields you can keep them as a group. Uh, we can keep them as a group. If there is a group, we can also give the group name. And the rest of them are like what is the label of the field, description of the field. Some fields are like multi-select. In the drop down, you can select like two, three different values. So that if like let's say if there is a drop down for selecting the certifications which you have, if you have two different certifications, uh, then you can select like two or multiple select options. So if it is a multi-select, I have to fill. I think there might be some example. Yeah, since the multi-select is true, recruiting, marketing, AD code. Yeah, it's nothing but in the recruiting marketing, there will be a code for the job posting, like the AD code. Nothing but if there are if they posted in two, three different in two, three different sites, all those codes will be captured. So I will show you multiple select values. I think only one multi-select, and that is the AD code, which is not a good. Yeah, I will show you the in the UI how the multi-select will look like. Uh, and enum values are not, pick list ID is nothing but for a pick list type of field. Uh, all the values will be maintained in the pick list management, and from the pick list management, there will be a one ID. That ID will be that ID will be mapped here, so that all the pick list values will be shown in the drop down. Those will be used for countries, states, and uh, you can also do that parent child pick list. We in technically we called it as cascade pick list. So it's nothing but type of mapping for all the child for a state pick list. We will give the country as a uh, parent ID as a country pick list. So after by depending on the country, the states will be picked up. It's just a CSV file designing. I'll show you that one. And again, fill in the enum values are nothing but if there are very few values in the drop down, like yes or no or something like that, they will define the enum values. Here it's like hourly, bi-weekly, monthly, and annually. So these are the different enum values and their labels. I think that's all. These are again the same value, hourly and bi-weekly. So these and there would be and all these fields would be easier to add or edit. Standardized fields would be easily added through the UI I showed you before. And after that, coming to the button permissions. So there are like three different uh, for all the permissions for all the buttons. Why it is defined twice? Which one? Previous field. Enum. Okay. I think this is the one. Yeah, this one, right? This is the salary frequency. And here, if you put the value, it's also yeah. Let me check one thing. Bi-weekly, monthly, annually. Actually, if you see in this field definition, uh, let me show you in the grid view. Yeah, this is the field definition and salary rate. Here is the frequency is the field labels. Okay, all the field labels are different types of translations here. Don't confuse, it's a different type of view. These are the descriptions which we don't need. Actually, in the tabular form, the XML is picking up a different way. So if you see the enum values here, you have only four values. The label comes up. See the value is hourly. Here it's a bi-weekly, and there are only other two values, right? Monthly, bi-weekly, hourly, bi-weekly. I think monthly. I don't know the other one. If you see annually, so there are only four different values. But the XML is the tree view is picking up wrong. But if you see here, there are only four values in this description in the field definition because the field definition field close here. This is the ending field. Okay, and this is the opening of the particular field definition. This is the opening. If you see here, the ID is salary rate, type is enum, required false, custom false, and these are the different translations of the labels. These are the different translations of description. And what are the four different enum values are only four, but in the tree view it is picking up wrong, and this is a different field definition, this is a different field definition. Okay, but in the tabular view it's picking up many columns. I don't know the reason, but usually these many are not there in the source also. Okay, actually it went up. I can't find it again. Is it clear? uh, there is an issue with the tree view actually, but usually there will be only four values which you can see. And coming to the field permissions, nothing but here we defined the fields in the above section. We defined what are the fields that we have to show in the that should be shown in the template. You can edit in the. It's better to edit in source view or grid view. Editing means you just change the labels, right? That's it. You just change the label name. That's it. You won't add a new. If you are adding a new one, it's better to copy here and paste it wherever you want. You can't copy paste a table view. If it is a single value, you can just copy and paste it. But if it's like you're copying an entire one field definition, you can't do it. Or a field permission, you can't do it in a tree view. You have to copy here and paste it like same like HTML. You have to find the starting of the tag and ending of the particular tag. This is the starting, and if you can see that this is the ending of the field. So the entire field can be copied and pasted somewhere, and you can change, um, just manipulate the changes however you want. Yeah. So in the above section, we just created what are the fields we want. But here we have to define the fields. Like we have to define the field permissions. Who can read the field? Who can write the field? All these permissions, and who doesn't have any permission. So all these, like none permission is like the default permission. If you give only read permission, it some person can read that field, and if you give the right permission, then that particular role who is having that particular role, that person can write it. Write is nothing but edit that field. Okay, and I will show one field in the XML source file first. So this is how the field looks like. First, this would be the entire up to here. It's a one field permission. Okay, and the type of the permission type is read. That means this is we are giving the read permission by giving this field permissions, and here we define what is the permissions we are giving, and for which role we are giving, and what are the fields that role is having. Okay, the three things are involved here: what type of permission, which role is involved, and what are the fields. Okay, and what the type of the permission we are giving is read here. Okay, and what are the roles we are giving? It's for only J. Okay, for role name J. And here we also include for the statuses, like in which status. It's in the pre-approved status. This permission in this particular status, in the pre-approved status, the role name J is having read permission for all these particular fields. Okay, for the ID, title, uh, status, requisition, division, country, state, all these particular fields are having this particular J role. Yes, if you remember before, I completely lost. Yeah, job requisition report. This is the if you see the job J is job requisition report is the person who is having report access, like the person who is giving report access. So actually, we give this particular role to many people. Like recruiter role will be having to many people, and hiring manager hiring manager role will be having to many people. All the people who are having that particular role will be having the read access. Okay, read access to all these fields in only pre-approved status. You remember the status, right? There will be different status: new requisition, pre-approved, rejected, default rejection by the system, onboarding. These are all the different kinds of statuses, right? So in this particular status, this guy is having this J particular role. J is having read access to all these fields. So that is how here we map the field IDs. If you remember in the previous field, while defining the fields, the first part which we defined is ID. So that ID should be mapped here. If the ID is not same, the field won't be mapped. Where is the status here? If you see the status here, yeah, that is the status, and here are the role names. If you want to give like two different role names, like here, if we gave this particular access to only J, right? If you want to give the same access to R also, just copy this uh, role and paste it here, and instead of J, keep it as R. So now both J and R are having pre all these fields read access in pre-approved status. If you want to add one more status, just copy this field and paste it and just change the name to another status name. And if you want to delete some fields from this particular permission, you can do that. If you want to add some, just copy one field and paste it and change the ID. Copy it from the field definition and just paste it here. Person ID, which person? These are field IDs, Bindu. These are not person IDs. These are field IDs, and these are statuses. Here we are giving the status name, new requisition, first which we configured different statuses. So all these status names will be mapped here, and here these are the role names, not the person names. Okay, person in the system. Can you talk? I didn't understand which your. Okay, like let's say recruiter. Uh, Recruiter will be having once the job requisition is approved and it's given to the interviews when the interview process is going on and all these and when it's like the interview process is going on, and when the particular job requisition is in a let's say which status, is it with the interview screening or some other status, then at that particular time the requisition can only be in the read status for the recruiters. They cannot edit it. Only a hiring manager or someone can edit it. Let's say in that scenario, where does it say here that I have it? You are the super administrator, right? You would be the super administrator. You are not even related to, if you are a super administrator, you are not related to any of these. You are not related to, right? That particular employee or a job requisition. I didn't understand your question. Can you explain it in by speaking? Okay. Okay. Usually, we are not. We are a super administrators. Like we are a recruiting admin or something. Just give me a second, guys. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. And this is how we define the field permissions for the different fields. Actually, before configuring these field permissions, we have to take the requirements and we have to just design how we gonna give these permissions. Uh, if you didn't design it very well, there will be many number of n number of for each and every role you have to define a field permission. So there will be some unions. So sometimes there will be the same permissions can be given twice or thrice sometimes. If you just go through all those uh, very well, and you can define it in a very short, like without defining like 10 or 12 different field permissions, you can reduce those. The reason is that you will be giving the read or write permissions 2 or 3 times for the same role and for the same fields. So if you go through these and minimize those, you can do that. It would take some time. That's it. Here, if you see one more example, here we are giving a write permissions to this role O. O is nothing but originator who creates the job requisition. And in which status? It's in the pre-approved status. Okay, and what are the fields? These are the different types of fields that he's having access. Title, only title. Oh, it's going. So these are the different fields. All these 10 fields, title, all these fields are having in the pre-approved status. That is nothing but pre-approved is nothing but before the form is going to be approved. Before the form is going to be approved for the requisition to be posted, this particular originator has right to all these fields, to edit all these fields. Okay, in the same way, there will be all the different types of permissions which we can define by the, like here, if you see, there is a write permission for the recruiter in the pre-approved status uh, for these three different roles. Okay, for the recruiter and these, let me check in the source file. So write status, recruiter, and these three people are having to write all these fields in which status, in pre-approved status. Okay, do you guys understand this or any questions on these field permissions?
Shashi, is it like for the originator, he can do change? This is right permission, right?
Yeah, right permissions.
So
That means edit.
originate, oh, yeah. So originator can edit this particular uh, job requisition and in pre-approved status. Is it like that?
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And what are the
Right.
fields that he can edit after approved status?
Okay.
After once it is
Okay. And
approved, and what are the things which he can edit before it's pre-approved?
okay. So which are the fields we can see here?
All the fields which we defined in the top.
Acha. Okay. Okay. All the fields
First
we
we
can.
define the fields, and for all these
Yeah.
fields we give the permissions,
Okay.
and there will be one extra roles and attributes. We give it to uh, this particular roles and in this particular statuses, and these
Mm-hmm.
are read and write permissions.
Okay. So we can also restrict that, for example, for originator also,
Mhm.
not all the fields in pre-approved status he can edit, but few fields he can edit in pre-approved status. Can we define it like this also?
Yes, yes, we can define it.
Yeah.
We have to design it first, and we can define like five fields can be editable, and five fields can be read only, and five fields he cannot even see it. If he didn't
Uh-huh.
define at least a read permission, that field cannot even visible to him.
Okay.
He can't even
Okay.
see that field.
Okay. Now, for example, the tenth one, there are three roles defined. Yeah, or this one also. There are three role names, right?
Yeah, three role names.
Yeah, if you can.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah. So what does this mean?
This means all these three roles has a write permissions, edit permissions in the
Mm-hmm.
pre-approved status of the requisition,
Okay.
and they are having write permissions in the
Mm-hmm.
pre-approved status for all these fields.
Okay. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, this is just the tree view, and this is the source view. Okay, here we define the read permissions. All these three people are having read permissions in the approved status. Sorry, it's approved status, not pre-approved status.
Okay. Now.
And these are all the different fields which they can read in approved status.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, in few first they will do the design in the Excel, how to configure these field permissions, and they will move it to the XML, because it's defining these things is designing these things is a bit easy in Excel first, and after that they will move it to the XML to reduce the confusion, because we will forget what field we defined there and what field we defined here. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the field permissions, and coming to here, we will be having button permissions. Usually, very few buttons are here. Uh, Close requisition button and reopen the requisition button. There are the two different buttons. Nothing but close the requisition means once the job is filled, particular position requisition is filled, someone can close this requisition, and no one can recruit for this job once it is filled, and it will be closed. The position will be closed. and another button is reopen position. But if the, let's say, if the position is closed, assuming that some person has already given offer, so after giving an offer, that particular candidate has rejected the offer. Maybe he got in some other with some other, he got some other good position, better position than this one, and he didn't accepted that particular offer. Then originator or some person or a recruiter will again reopen this particular requisition. Okay, so that is how the reopen requisition position button will be useful. So what are the, who is having the permissions for these two buttons? Uh, Close, S, R, and Q is having the permissions. If you prefer here, S is nothing but sourcer, R is recruiter, and Q is nothing but VP of staffing, nothing but head of the entire. So all these three persons is having the access to close the requisition. Other than these three people, no one, like the hiring manager or second recruiter, uh, all these persons, other persons doesn't have access to this particular button. In the same way, to reopen the requisition, a sourcer, recruiter, and only the head of the VP of the staffing, only these three persons is only having permission to reopen this particular requisition. Okay, these are the button permissions. Okay, and coming to the next section, it is nothing but a job requisition section name. Mm, Yeah, it is job requisition section name is job. I will show it in the UI. It is useful in the UI. It would be more understandable in UI. Let me open this one. What I want to show. I have to go to manage templates. If I'm going to job requisition, this is the job requisition template, and it's for the Canada template. Uh, I'm showing you how to edit all these things in the UI also. It would take lots of fields. Yeah, in the general settings, application status the general settings, here these are all the field permissions which you can define in the UI. Yeah, here field permission type, there are three different types. Usually if it didn't define in the XML, that is nothing but none. Okay, but here in the UI you can also show the none, but other two permissions are read and write permissions, and all the different types of roles can be seen here, like approver, candidate, hiring manager. All these people are shown here, and if you have some custom roles, you can define it here, and all the different field IDs. These are multi-select option, like you can select multiple fields. So if you want to select how many fields that you can select, and statuses, pre-approved, approved, and closed. And these are the here we define the status, and these are the role names which we want to give the permissions, and these are the reference IDs, field reference IDs. These are the different fields which we want to give the access, and these are the read or write access. Okay, this means this particular, yes, for the Tessa Walker is a no, no, no. This is the admin through Tessa Walker is a recruiting admin. So I'm just configuring as the admin. Okay, don't confuse. I'm just proxying to your account because in her account I can see everything because I'm not a recruiting admin. I didn't have. I'm a super admin, but I didn't have all these job requisitions and everything process going on, right? But her account has a different processes going on. So I'm just trying to proxy into her account and just show it to you. It's just a admin access, and from the admin we are configuring a template. Admin view we are configuring a template, and here if we are configuring a field permissions for the fields which we define. So there are three different permissions: write, read, and none. Uh, don't worry about the description. Description we don't care about usually. And these are roles. Roles are nothing but to which role we have to give these access, right permissions, and what fields this particular role should have uh, a right permission. And this is in which particular status, whether it is an approved, pre-approved, or closed status. So right now, a recruiter has right permissions for the assessment in the approved status. Same like XML, but it's a UI. So if you want to create, you can create as many as you like. In the same way, we have button permissions. Here, what is the button name? Like close job requisition button or reopen job requisition button, and what are the different types of, who are the different roles have access to this button. Okay, queue is nothing but queue is nothing in this particular system. Queue is nothing but human resource administrator. R is nothing but a recruiter, and S is nothing but requisition administrator, are nothing but sources. Okay, that is how we give the field permissions and button permissions. Email permissions defined. Candidate email permissions is nothing but description. Yeah, and this is the listing fields. I'll show you in the XML first the listing fields, and I'll come back here. Uh, Job requisition name is nothing but job requisition section name is the section name which we can see it here. Application status configuration. I think I have to go to the, let me go to the job requisition. Create a new job requisition. Standard job requisition. Create a new job requisition. Next. This is the entire section name, I think. Yeah, this is the section name. So that may, but it doesn't match here, job requisition section name. So where it is, it should be shown there only. It's just a section name. In the job requisition there will be section. So this is the section name, but I didn't see that section there. I'll show you. Just signature section names. Yeah, this is signature section name is nothing but approval, right? When it's going through the approval process, there will be a signature section. I will show in the UI. I will show you tomorrow that how it will, I will route through the different steps. Like who once a originator or sourcer creates the requisition, it will go through approval chain, right? So hiring manager should review that, and he should approve. And after that, let's say head of the administration or some recruiting admin should approve that. Then it will go to the job posting. So in that, approval is nothing but signature, right? So in the signature section, it shows as approval for the recruiting. But in the PMGM, we'll show it as a first level signature, second level manager signature. So the terminology, the language changes. Okay, listing fields. Usually, listing fields are nothing but listing are also called as you know for the reports, reports and what is the another way which we called it as? Mm, yeah, usually for the reports and one more thing, I didn't remember that one. Yeah, like all the I think it's for only the reports. Usually, all the listing fields which we notify here will be shown in the reporting. Okay, usually these are all the custom like if you want to show the custom fields, if you created like 10 or 20 different custom fields, and if you don't want to show all the 20 fields in the reporting, we have to choose like what are the fields we want to show it in the reporting while taking the reports. If you want to take all these fields reports, then you have to choose here. You have to list them here, otherwise they won't be shown in the recruiting reporting. And similarly, we have the mobile fields. Usually in the SuccessFactors mobile, all the you can't see the entire in the mobile app. You can't see the entire recruiting module here, and in the PMGM also you can't see all the fields. You can't do all the functionalities. Only the few functionalities are only handled in the recruiting app. And if you want to show these particular fields in a recruiting app also, then you have to select these fields. Okay, once you selected these fields only, then it should be then there will be shown in the SuccessFactors mobile if you are using that. And offer letter fields are nothing but once if you are generating a offer letter, all these fields which we define, all these fields will be there in offer letter also. If you want a field, this job requisition name in the offer letter and the candidate name, all these fields will be captured here and there will be transferred to the offer letter. Okay, like the city of place. Yeah, customized fields are standard fields. Both can be shown in the mobile field. Yes, as per their needs. But mobile fields are very limited fields. I think customers won't use recruiting management for mobile. And the reason is that in the recruiting management, there have very limited functionality. I think only the approval process is good. Like they can just approve it. Some head of the recruiting or someone can approve the requisition, but they can't do all these different process. They can't assess all these things. So that is regarding the listing fields and the mobile fields. And assessment scale is nothing but the rating scale. So the rating scale ID will be mapped here. You have to remember the rating scale ID and you have to map it here. And there is a clear UI, so you can do it there. Application status fields, status. So the status, uh, we have to map the statuses, right? What are the status we want to show? So all the status set, the particular standard status set, which we configured in the provisioning before, all the different statuses, that should be mapped here. Okay. And applications template name, it is nothing but a candidate. This template name is Usually this should be in the beginning, but it's there in the bottom. The name is nothing but you can give it as a US requisition template or a Canada requisition template, whichever we want. Okay, and this is the how we create or define a job requisition template, and these are the fields will be there. Yeah, here status configuration will give the different states. We have simple status set and a standard status set. So you can configure how many status sets you want and keep it in the provisioning. But for one requisition, you can only map one status set. You can't map like two or three status sets. It's only one for one. Uh, any questions, Bindu? I think you only. Yeah, that is how we create it and we upload into the system. And the job requisition. Let me go to this view again. After we upload that into the system, uh, we can see the job requisition template here, like simple job requisition, standard job requisition, and there will be one more called US job requisition or a UK job requisition, whichever. And the three options will be there by default. And if you click the new one by using the blank template, all those things mm, which are all the fields which we defined are there, and we can just add it or edit them and read depending on the permissions which we gave. And once it's approved, the chain approval chain, we define the route map, and once it's approved, we can post the job. And once it has been posted, and if some people are already applied, then we can see all these like how many people have been applied and in which particular. If we just click that requisition, we can see all the statuses which we configured. Uh, yeah, like these all statuses, whether it's forwarded, whether the background check is going on, assessment interview, all these steps. Okay. Mm, I will stop here for today, and tomorrow we can connect again.